Oh, sorry. I let the music play a little too long. I was catching up with Mac. I missed you, Mac. Welcome back. It's 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I was just saying to Mac, I was like, I had so many guests yesterday.
Yeah, all in a row, too, consecutively?
Man, we had a squad of ladies on here.
That sounds awesome.
We had
I totally missed it.
Bernadette Pager from Tennessee Stand for Health Freedom. And then, so she was on. That's on the podcast page, talking about a couple House bills and Senate bills. And then Savannah Hernandez was live from New York, where she's covering illegal immigration and the Trump trial.
Oh, wow.
So she was awesome.
That's interesting.
We podcasted that as well. And then Sarah McAbee, wife of J6 prisoner Ronald McAbee, was on. It was like boom, boom, boom. Guest. I asked Murphy, I was like, how do you do all the guests?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a little Murphy hour there.
I felt like I couldn't even get to a lot of the stories I wanted to get to. But it works out because there's a couple Biden rants that so yesterday we had an all-time rant. And I was like, I didn't have you here to kind of like play this for you because I need to know what you think about this.
Oh, gosh.
And then as I'm like, I already moved this over to my stack for today to play for you. And then I got two new ones that rival this one as well. Biden's had a tough week. And when you look at the week so far that Donald Trump has had and the week Biden has had, if you were on the outside looking in and all things were equal, you would assume that Biden would be able to have a better week. He's able to campaign.
Yeah.
He's not sitting in a courtroom. It's just not the case. It's just not the case. It feels like in the Trump-Biden duels this week, Trump has outplayed him handily over the first 3 days. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a note from the White House that Biden is going to call a lid and head to Rehoboth Beach. Like any minute, because of how much Trump has outdueled him. And this is just like on events, right? This is before we even get to Joe Biden speaking.
Wow.
But when Joe Biden has spoke this week, it sounded like this. This is Joe in Scranton.
One day I showed up at off-year convention, and I was in the motel after the local motel, getting changed after the afternoon session, go back to the evening session. I'd come down with some young activists, a little older than me, but still young activists, who were involved in trying to reform the party.
I love that part. So I come down with this young activist who's a little older than me, who was involved with trying to reform the party. And then he goes, like, even back then it was a joke.
Were involved in trying to reform the party. And I was in one of those 8x10 bathrooms, they have, shower, toilet, and a sink. And
you know those, right?
Oh, yeah, the classic 8x10.
Just every bathroom ever. Shower, toilet, sink.
Shower, toilet, and a sink. And I got a towel on me and shaving cream, and I hear bam, bam, bam at my door really loudly. One day I showed.
So here's bam, bam, bam really loudly, okay? Are you following? At this point, we hear no more mention of the activist that he came down with trying to reform the party. He's in a shower in his 8x10 bathroom.
Yeah, the imagery's great.
Toilet, sink, shower. He has all the necessities.
Yeah.
And he's got a towel on, and he's got shaving cream on his face, and he hears the bam, bam, bam. Okay? Are you following the story so far?
Sadly, I'm picturing it very well.
The theater of the mind on it, I will give him credit. He can paint the picture.
Yeah, he can.
Bam, bam, bam at my door really loudly. And wondering what the hell is that? I thought it was this guy, Bob Cunningham, on a radio show, and a couple other guys. So I said, okay, guys. And I walked to the door and opened it up, and standing there was the former governor of the state of Delaware, Albert N. Carville, a big guy, about 6'5", talked at you like this. And the state representative who got defeated 4 years earlier as a Democratic state rep who was retired, and one of the, from the family that had more senators appointed than any other family in American history, to the tunnels, and a former retired justice, and the state chairman And they said, I'm standing in a towel and shaving cream on my face.
What do you think?
What are you talking about?
Nobody knows. The woman standing behind him is smiling. And at a certain point, the smile goes to confusion, but she's still smiling.
Yeah.
And then the confusion becomes very apparent that the story has just gone off the rails. But she keeps the smile the whole time. But it's funny to watch the progression from a real smile to a forced smile to an absolute fake smile.
Yeah, to just get me through this. Smile.
Get me, Lord. She's saying some Hail Marys.
Smile and wave.
Please help me. So he's had a tough time speaking. And they did this campaign event in Scranton. They shrunk the room via blue curtains because Joe can't fill out the room. And they say Trump can't campaign because he's in a courtroom. That's been the big narrative. So then Trump left the courtroom yesterday to travel to the bodega where this is the scene of a crime where somebody basically tried to stab the bodega worker, and the bodega worker, or tried to assault the bodega worker. The bodega worker stabbed the person trying to assault them, killed him. Alvin Bragg charged the guy with murder, attempted murder, for defending himself. Those charges get dropped. So he's on break from court, and Trump decides to go to that bodega and turn it into a campaign stop. So Trump immediately rips the narrative that he can't campaign while he's in court. So Biden is trying to do all of these things and really do the Trump thing. So his campaign stop failed in Scranton, right? He goes on these rambling stories. So they decided to try to make him have a humanizing moment, sort of like the Trump Chick-fil-A moment. And they sent him to a Sheetz. Do you know Sheetz? Do you know what Sheetz is?
I don't think so.
Sheetz is like a gas station. It's East Coast, Southeast.
Okay.
Made to order food. It's actually really good. It's like a guilty pleasure.
Oh, nice.
Would love them in Tennessee. So they sent him to a Sheetz to try to basically mimic what Trump did at Chick-fil-A. Because as you remember, was it earlier this week, Trump at Chick-fil-A where it was last week.
Yeah, that was late last week.
People lost their mind because Trump dropped into a Chick-fil-A, and he's in Georgia. He's in a very black area in Atlanta, and they love Trump at Chick-fil-A. They can't get enough of Trump at Chick-fil-A.
Well, we took care of those colleges.
Sure did. Much better than Biden did. So I want to know this is Clark Atlanta, this is Spelman, this is Morehouse, this is Morris Brown, all
Isn't that great?
So I don't care what the media tells you, Mr. Trump. We support you. Okay? Yeah,
Come here, let me give you a hug.
Please do.
So Trump is received very well at Chick-fil-A. The people love him. They absolutely can't get enough of Trump.
Yeah, well, people that might not have heard it.
And they're yelling, "We love you, Trump."
How you doing, Trump? I'm doing good. I love you, man. You look good. Everybody having a good time? Get ready. Yeah, I'd give you one. Make America great.
So they love him. So they're trying to recreate this. The Biden camp is. So they sent Joe Biden to a Sheetz. And I want to paint this scene for you, okay? Joe Biden fails in this moment so hard. The clip is only 25 seconds from the moment he walks in to when he walks out. And he's campaigning really hard. They juiced him up for his campaign stops. They juiced him up for the rambles. And so they send him into a Sheetz. He walks in and he sees three little girls, and he tries to say hello to them. The kids are awkwardly lined up waiting for him. They send him behind the counter at Sheetz, which is such an old school politician thing, right? Don't you feel like that's old school? I've never seen Trump go behind the counter at one of his fast food stops. Have you?
I don't think so.
He doesn't go behind the counter. He engages with the staff. He makes them smile. He makes them have fun, but he doesn't go behind the counter. Biden went behind the counter. They're like, okay, everybody line up for a picture. And nobody really wanted to take the picture with Joe, but they felt they had to. Seriously. So, okay, so I was a little wrong. It's 2 minutes. Not 25 seconds. He walks in. He stares at a couple kids. Oh, hello, how are you? Doesn't shake their hand, he walks by them. There's a line of people waiting to meet him. He walks by all of them. Doesn't shake hands, doesn't say hello. He goes to the counter. This is how you know it's so staged. At Sheetz, you order on a screen. They've been doing it forever.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a digital ordering screen. He walks to the counter. They hand him a bag of food. So the order had already been placed. He doesn't buy food for the crowd. He doesn't buy food for the staff. He's not humanizing. They're going for this humanizing moment. Everything is so awkward and staged. And they're trying so hard to beat Trump. And he's behind the counter. He doesn't know where to go. His handlers are pointing him around. He's like, oh, okay, let's take a group photo. One guy sort of gets in, then they force the other employees to get in. Fake smile. Campaign staff takes a picture. All right, guys. I'll see you later. And at this point, he walks out of the Sheetz. Press starts shouting questions.
No. Why? Don't jump.
So then they say, are the steel tariffs, he's out, and then he leaves. They say, are the steel tariffs going to hurt your relationship with Xi Jinping? No. Don't jump. That's his answer.
No.
No. So Trump goes to a bodega where Alvin Bragg charged the guy with attempted murder for defending himself while he's on a court break, forms a massive impromptu crowd, massive press coverage. Biden tries to pull a humanizing moment at Sheetz like Trump at Chick-fil-A. He's trying to jack his swag. He's trying to imitate the drip, if you will, of the orange man. Do you understand? Would you not agree?
Sure.
He's trying to imitate the drip?
Yeah, absolutely.
A drip imitation, if you will?
Yes, exactly. Drimitation.
A dripitation? He's trying to jack all his moves, and he fails terribly. And the big, so one of the big narratives that they've been pushing on the left is that Trump can't campaign from a courtroom. Well, he's destroyed that. And then Trump destroys the whole other narrative from the Biden camp that, Trump is, he's stuck in a courtroom, but Biden's doing the work for America. While Trump's sitting in a courtroom, he trumps him in one move, goes to the bodega. While Biden's doing that huge Sheetz fail that I played for you, Trump is also having the president of Poland visit Trump Tower and have dinner. And he's just outmaneuvering this guy every step of the week. Like every step he takes, he's outmaneuvering Biden this week. This is it with the president of Poland at Trump Tower.
This gentleman, he's doing a fantastic job. The people of Poland love him. They really do. They really love you. And it's not an easy thing to accomplish, but he's done a fantastic job, and he's my friend. And we had 4 great years together. 4 great years.
Doing a fantastic job in Poland. He's my friend.
People love him.
People love him.
They
but
really do.
It's just the difference couldn't be more clear. The chess moves that are being played out in front of us. So Joe has his rambling all-timer yesterday, and then he gets to his campaign event in Pittsburgh. I have so much audio from the campaign stop in Pittsburgh, including a rant about cannibalism that trumps the ramble about being in a shower with shaving cream on his face.
I heard you guys talking about this in the Amigos, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Cannibals?
Just wait.
Yeah, it's a doozy.
Oh, yikes.
It is. A doozy is putting it the nicest way possible. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
911 outage right after alerts about cyber attacks. A carjacker in Nashville's on the run and likely needing immediate medical attention. And a seafood restaurant famous for its biscuits is in financial trouble. These stories at more at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Is that locally or nationally, the seafood biscuit spot?
You got to wait to hear, Brother Chris.
Ooh. If it's the seafood biscuit spot I think you're talking about,
yeah,
I'm going to say see you later. Look, if it's the one I think you're talking about,
I think we know which one.
I don't want to spoil it.
No, I don't want to either.
But I have strong opinions about this place.
Really?
I do.
Not a fan, huh?
No. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'm a guy that grew up outside of Boston.
Right.
And I like my fried clam strips.
Right.
Huge fan. There's no better seafood than fried clam strips.
Well, and that's real seafood.
So I ordered it from this biscuit seafood restaurant one day. And I said to them, and I have a process when I'm ordering fried clam strips. Do you bread them in-house? Because that tells me all I need to know about your fried clam strips.
Right.
And I got hit with I don't know.
Not a Mike Pence.
Wrong answer.
I don't know.
You can't tell me you don't know.
Right.
And if you tell me you don't know, that's like somebody who calls in and I go, well, who did you vote for in 2020? They go, well, I don't want to tell you who I voted for. Like, well, I know. Now I know. If you tell me that you don't know whether or not you bread your clam strips, I know you don't.
Yeah. It's over. These are frozen.
I don't go there anymore. Sometimes you just need clam strips. I'm way off course.
I've never had a clam strip, by the way.
You've never had a clam strip?
I don't think I've ever even encountered
a clam strip.
Yeah, I've never heard of this, and I'm a huge seafood guy.
Oh my gosh, get them without the bellies because the bellies sometimes have sand.
What?
Yeah,
sand.
Well, that's what they're in the ocean.
Wow.
See, my thinking on seafood is you got to be near the sea.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
To really get good seafood.
The weirdest thing that happened to me when I moved here, it was like 2016, 2017. I don't know. I'm bad with dates. Looking at the weather and realizing that we are so landlocked, like there's no bodies of water. 'Cause everywhere else I had lived, you look at the radar on like when you watch the weather, even Michigan, it's like you had the Great Lakes.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, Pittsburgh, you see the Great Lakes.
Yep.
I always had ocean in Richmond, like always in the forecast, you see the ocean. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange.
I've never had that. I'm the opposite. Landlocked, baby, whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I'm not leaving. It was just something strange. Do you know what I mean? But
weirder radars, less clam strips. There are only a couple cons.
It's really the only negatives I've come up with. The clam strips one is big though.
That's huge.
It's huge.
I just imagine that employee this dude just asked me where the clam strips are bred.
Well, he's probably never got the question before.
Right.
No.
He was like, what?
At this seafood and biscuit restaurant that will remain nameless until Ken goes on, no, I don't think he gets that question.
Ken should have told us about this seafood and biscuit restaurant 20 seconds ago now. Let's go to Ken. I need to hear about the seafood and the biscuits.
All right, man. 9:30 on the dot this Thursday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We're under an elevated risk of severe weather. Tell you about it during the full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now, Texas, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Nevada all reporting 911 emergency calls blocked for about 2 hours overnight. Some 911 systems reported problems with calls from landlines. Others said callers from cell phones couldn't get through. Services have been restored, but it's unclear what caused the outages. Right now in Nashville, Metro Police say a carjacker on the run, likely in need of immediate medical attention. This man shot one man in the face in the McDonald's parking lot on Nolensville Pike and Rosedale. Then the man shot in the face used his car as a weapon to pin the shooter to the very car the shooter was able to steal. That car is a Nissan Cube, and police say they're looking for it. Says it should be easy to spot with heavy damage to the driver's side door. Financial trouble for Red Lobster.
I knew it. I knew it. Carry on.
The chain is considering filing for bankruptcy, according to a new Bloomberg report. Filing for Chapter 11 would allow the chain to stay open while dealing with its debt, giving the company a chance to help its bottom line by reevaluating some long-term contracts and leases. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
9:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The members' nutrition text line has descended into a seafood debate. Did you see what 1706 said?
I did.
1706 stole Mac's joke.
I know.
And,
1706 is now going to get this credit.
Yeah, so now I said to Mac off the air, I said, Mac, you missed your opportunity, because he's like, I wanted to interrupt during Ken's newscast and say this. I was like, you should have, because now if you say it, 1706 is just going to say that you're jacking his swag. 1706, before Mac said,
okay,
Red Lobster will now be called Dead Lobster. He also added, another victim of China Joe Biden's Build Back Better. Let's go, Brandon. It's not.
See, and that's how they had to get us landlocked, folks. They had to make biscuits.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The biscuits are so good.
You know you can get the biscuit mix.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
you can get that
Yeah,
now.
my mother-in-law sends them to us. Shout out to Queenie. That's her grandma name. Did you know that?
Queenie.
Queenie.
I love
That's
that.
the best.
That's a good name for
That
grandma.
is great.
That's a good name. She listens all the time. They'll listen wherever they are.
Thanks for listening, Queenie.
They spend half the time in Virginia, half the time in, and this is tough. I feel bad for them, the U.S. Virgin Islands.
How do they make it?
Just keep them in your thoughts. Keep them in your thoughts.
I dip those biscuits in shrimp sauce.
Ooh.
Oh, I've not tried that. That sounds good.
What's the like the cocktail sauce?
Yeah, the
All
cocktail
right.
sauce. Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
Heck, I might try do it in Chick-fil-A sauce now that I think about it.
Dang.
See, I like Weaver. He's out of the box. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
He's
100%.
like, you know.
Yeah, would have never thought of that.
Nope.
Like red sauce on a biscuit, but
And Mac also
right.
was Googling what clam strips look like during the break.
Yeah, and I'm in.
Oh,
I'm
that
in.
does sound good.
Yeah, I'm in.
man.
If we could just get like an actual clam strip joint, would do endorsements for pay me in strips.
Pay me in strips.
Pay me in strips.
But it's not as good as right out of the ocean, man. Like,
Oh.
like you
Yeah.
got in Boston.
So in Boston's like known for fried clam strips. I go to North Carolina, the Outer Banks, quite often. And so I made it a point to find there, because North Carolina is more crab. So I made it a point to find a clam strip joint that breads them themselves. And we'll go occasionally, maybe once a year, maybe twice every other year. It all depends how it shakes out. But this restaurant knows me as the clam strip guy now.
Yeah.
Because
Yes, sir.
like I'll randomly call up and be like, I need 4 orders and I'll be back in 2 days.
Yep.
For more.
For more. Like, is this the clam strip guy? I'm like, yes. How long you in for? Be here for a couple days.
Yeah.
You'll see me several times.
Need the strips.
Gotta get the strips. No bellies.
No bellies. Do they bread them themselves? I know the way to go now.
This is it.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
So, clam strip. 0978 says clam strip joint sounds like a risky Google at work.
Could be, man.
Could be.
Yeah, be careful, bro.
This is true. And then we also got a shout out to Red Lobster Cheddar Bay Biscuit Mix. It's made in Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Oh, what do you know about that?
Wow.
Yep.
I love it.
That was from Wesley on the Members Nutrition text line. So we're learning things.
0420 Toots has good clam strips.
Do they bread them themselves?
Exactly.
I like Toots. I'm all in on the fried pickles.
Yeah, Toots, they, although I got an order of fried pickles there one time and there were no pickles in it. It was just fried bread. But you know what? I liked it.
I was going to say, it was pretty good.
Hold the pickles.
I ate it right up.
That's so fun.
I did not hesitate.
Have you done, you're not a Murfreesboro guy, Mac. Have you done the Toots fried pickles?
No.
You're missing out.
I know what Toots, I've driven past that, but I've never,
You
never
gotta go-
been.
And there's several Toots. Off the air, I'll tell you about the good
You'll
one.
have
Okay.
a rootin' tootin' good time.
It's a good spot.
And fried pickles are the thing.
Fried pickles are the thing.
Okay, great. I mean, I love fried pickles.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Did
I
you-
kept eating them and I thought, there's no pickles in this. But I loved it.
that.
And I said, oh, well.
All
I
right.
just kept dipping them and eating them.
Yeah, exactly. Just seasoned bread, seasoned fried.
All right, Dan, I'm waiting for the text from Dan to be like, "Can you stop talking about clam strips?
Let's get to content.
Let's get to content."
right on.
We were talking about Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Donald Trump completely outplaying him with his bodega visit, with the Chick-fil-A visit. I mean, He absolutely made Biden look like a fool in comparison when Biden tried to visit his sheets. But it's tough because Biden just sounds like a fool every time he talks. Every time. Every time. All of them.
Are there some times that, or is it?
Fact check it for me. But I'm pretty sure it's every time. And the thing that's crazy is when he's on the campaign trail, all he gets is softball questions, right? And they try to help push the narrative that Donald Trump can't do anything because he's in a courtroom. Mind you, he's having much larger campaign stops impromptu in a blue state, in a blue city than Joe Biden can draw in his own hometown. But while he's doing interviews, he's getting softballs from the press. He's doing these interviews. I think this was in Pittsburgh. They brought up the fact, you've been campaigning and Trump's in a courtroom. And you know what? Trump blames you, Mr. President. Oh, let me turn up my audio. They set Joe Biden up, and it's still just ridiculous.
Former President Trump has spent a lot of his time this year in a courtroom. He directly blames you, President Biden, as being responsible behind those prosecutions. How do you respond to that?
His lack of ethic has nothing to do with me. I have not once talked to anyone in my administration about Trump's legal problems. A lot of them occurred well before I became president. And so I have nothing to do with that.
No, I have nothing to do with Trump's legal problems, he said. A lot of these legal problems were before I even became president, but he neglects to mention that he wasn't charged until Joe Biden was president. He neglects to mention people from his administration meeting with DAs in these cases. He doesn't bring it up. He doesn't bring up Fani Willis's team meeting with the Biden administration. So, I got nothing to do with it. I got nothing to do with it. And then they try to give him another softball when it comes to the economy because Joe Biden can't campaign on anything because he doesn't have any wins. All he has is failures. So he's focusing his campaign on abortion and gun control. And they try to give him a softball on the economy. He says, gee whiz, Mr. President, inflation sure has been stubborn, hasn't it?
Now, for many Americans, life is too expensive. Are you concerned that stubborn inflation will hurt your reelection bid?
Look, we brought down inflation considerably by over 2/3, and it is being stubborn and not going down to the 2% we need.
It's stubborn. That's stubborn inflation. But you know what? Biden has a plan to deal with that stubborn inflation. He's doing it for the American people. He's blaming the junk fees and the overdraft fees.
But it's significantly different, number one. Number two, the thing that really affects people's lives are all the small things that add up to big numbers for people. All these junk fees that, for example, for a family like mine growing up, if you bounce the credit card, if you're late for credit card payment, they charge you $35 instead of $3, $4, $5, $8. The same way with the whole range of things.
Oh, it's junk fees are the reason.
That's what it is.
Listen, he blames overdraft fees. Overdraft fees suck. But here's the thing. Would you be dealing with overdraft fees as often if your groceries and rent weren't astronomically high?
Bingo.
I'm not sure a lot of Americans would be having this paycheck to paycheck issue if it weren't for the energy prices going up constantly.
Bingo.
Or the gas prices going up constantly.
Bingo.
Or the grocery prices not coming down ever.
Don't.
Sorry. Matt in Smyrna disagrees with me. Is that what's happening?
Bingo.
Matt in Smyrna.
This is your guy.
He's my friend. And he goes to the front of the line because he disagrees with me.
That's what happens.
And Matt, you have a problem with me saying softball questions?
Hey, good morning, Chris. Hey, you know what? I do agree with you with that Red Lobster. Oh, I got...
Whoa. Hold on a second, Matt. I need to put you on hold for 1 second. We need to start a document for when Matt agrees with me. Okay? All right.
That deserves that. I mean, come on.
It's 4:18. The time is 9:47. Matt agrees with me about something. All right. Can we get to what you disagree with me about, Matt?
Yeah. Hey, mark that down. That's a Kodak moment right there.
It is. I feel unity. Do you feel unity, Matt?
Hey, look, but
You know what, Matt? I think that we can both agree the Biden economy destroying Red Lobster is bringing the unity that he's been promising us.
Hey, man, Red Lobster was being destroyed way before Trump, Obama, Biden, everybody else. Boy, that a train wreck was waiting to happen. Look, now, you know what? I need for you to be fair. That's all. You know, what you do to one, you should do to the other. And it's called fair equivalence. Now, you're going to sit up here and tell your listeners and shade your talking points about how Biden gets softball questions when Trump had 4 years in office and he had time to defend his record against the people who were vying for the Republican nominee.
Trump would get into arguments with 60 Minutes over the validity of Hunter Biden's laptop. Trump would have questions shouted at him constantly. Okay. Joe Biden doesn't even do interviews with the press. Joe Biden's interviews on opening day for Major League Baseball are scripted. What do you mean?
Okay.
There is nothing even close to the scrutiny that Trump has got versus Joe Biden.
Oh, please, it's the same.
No, it is not. No.
Absolute same.
No.
Now, let me ask you why. Look.
How? Give me an example. Give me an example of a softball question Trump got.
Oh man,
from Maine.
Right,
exactly. You can't think of one because they aren't there. He doesn't get softballs from mainstream media, Matt.
Look, we have set the bar so low.
For Democrats and truth. For Democrats and truth,
Hold
Matt.
on.
That bar is I couldn't limbo under it if I tried, Matt.
Look, you're sitting up here talking about a turnaround and talking about Hunter Biden's laptop, who was not appointed to anything.
No. We're talking about softball questions from the media.
Okay.
Trump is on 60 Minutes. He brings up Hunter Biden's laptop, and they say, that's not true. That's Russian disinformation. When you show me an interview where mainstream media has looked at Joe Biden and said, that's not true.
It's Fox News, mainstream media. It's Chris Wallace, mainstream media.
Chris Wallace, who works at CNN. Chris Wallace, who defended Joe Biden and reined Trump in on the debate when they were getting into the money he received from the mayor of Moscow's wife. Are we talking about the same Chris Wallace?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. The same Chris Wallace.
Yeah, Chris Wallace is mainstream media. Yep.
Look, all I'm saying is, if Donald Trump had flaws, you would want. This is what you want. You want him to go out there and these people who disagree with him, put that out there so the world can see, so the people can see, so the people can hear. Well, it don't matter. Trump's going to say one thing and double down that he didn't say it.
Like what?
Like
what? Like what?
Like he didn't have an affair with Stormy Daniels, and then in court he says that he does. Or did we just forget? About that?
But this is what you do. This is what you do. You come at me about softball questions from mainstream media, and then you completely change the subject when you don't have any examples to provide.
I'm driving to work, but I can get you some.
I hope you do.
I
hope you do, Matt.
I'll bring you some. I'm just saying that we have set the bar so low. You know, the country wanted a businessman to run this country. They didn't want forever.
And we had him, and we threw him away. We threw him away because Orange Man bad. And now the polling looks like everybody's realizing the further we get away from the Trump economy, the further we get away from the Trump presidency, the poll numbers on how well he did go up. Because now we can compare it to the absolute incompetent fool we have in the White House currently.
Look, I'm not a fan of what we got in. I'm not a fan of what we got in the office now. But I'm damn sure not a fan of what we had in 2016. And you know what the sad thing
What was it that you didn't like? What was it that you didn't like? Like record low gas prices, record low unemployment, no new wars? Is it these things that you're not a fan of?
What I'm not a fan of is that you had 8 years of getting to that point where Trump took over.
We had 8 years. We had 8 years of getting to that point where Obama was deporting millions of people. If the mainstream media covered Obama half as harshly as they covered Trump, you know what they called him? The illegal aliens. They called him the deporter in chief, Obama. And Obama. Oh my gosh, Matt. Come on, man. Matt.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Matt. Obama dropped more bombs on the Middle East than something like all the presidents before him combined. And they had, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. He was drone bombing weddings and kids. Obama would see a group of little kids and be like, oh, let's send a drone.
Wait a minute. I don't think that Obama had a immigration policy to separate kids from families.
Actually, you're quite wrong. Obama set up that policy. The whole kids in cages, meme, that was an Obama era policy, Matt.
Yeah, but that was a temporary.
You just said Obama didn't do it. You just said Obama didn't do it.
I said that they had the quote unquote cages, but they didn't stay there. They had to be housed.
You're right, because then Obama would deport them.
And that's what he was supposed to do. Isn't he?
But we're talking about the mainstream media's coverage of presidents, Matt. You're changing the subject again. I'm fine with deporting illegal aliens. In fact, I think we should deport all illegal aliens. I'm like a huge fan of that.
Look, I think the biggest problem with the immigration problem is what they do to one, they don't do to the other. You know, it's funny how you want to build a wall in south of the south border, but my history tells me that the terrorists came from Canada. We had cocaine coming from Florida in the 80s, but yet we didn't build a wall over there. Where was the narrative then? It wasn't. This is all political stuff.
So it's my fault for wanting a wall on the southern border, but not a wall in Florida in the 80s.
Because you look, I tell you what, I always say this: if you would put a wall on the southern border, fine. But how about we stop the drugs coming through the U.S. mail? How about that? How about we stop that? More drugs come from the U.S. mail.
But you're acting acting like these are things that I wouldn't be like on board with.
But I'm just saying.
And your counterpoint are things that I would be like fine with fixing.
I understand that, but it's like I'm going to pick this problem here, but we got a bigger problem over here.
Okay, but your solution is don't fix any problems because Orange Man bad. No. I get it, man. I get it. At least we agree on Red Lobster. It's 9:55 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Paul Winkler, Inc. You know Paul. I know Paul. He's been hosting his investor coaching show here on WTN since forever. It runs on Saturdays from 3 to 6. Me and my wife would listen to it before I got my show here, and we would learn a lot. And when I got my show here, I knew I wanted to work with Paul because he's legit. He spent his time cutting his teeth in the financial planning industry by studying under an economist who won a Nobel Prize. He's an avid collector of financial planning designations. He has up to 8 now. And this is why my wife and I work with Paul. It's that experience coupled with how he can break it down and educate us along the way. And another thing Paul does, he holds himself to the highest level of fiduciary status. Because of that status, he makes sure I tell you I'm paid when I do these commercials. That's Paul. Literally, the guy in the ads, Paul Winkler, he's the one who says, tell people you get paid to do the commercials. I want transparency. I want honesty. I love that. And I also love that his team does nothing on commission. You can be sure when they give you financial advice for your future, it's for your future and not their paycheck. Nothing is done on commission. And they're going to educate you along the way. You will learn a lot, and you'll never have that uneasy feeling of blind trust when you're making decisions about your financial future. Link up with Paul's team. They're going to take a look at your whole financial picture, and then they'll help you make decisions because your financial picture is going to be unique to you. And it starts by setting up that 15-minute phone call. Do it today at paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are looking at a traffic problem due to potholes. That's right. Pothole patching going on in Millersville. This is Sumner County. 65 northbound, just north of the Millersville-Springfield Highway 31 exit 98. We still do not know what caused the 911 emergency calls outages in Texas, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Nevada overnight. Some 911 systems reported problems with calls from landlines. Others said callers from cell phones couldn't get through. Services have been restored, but still unknown what caused the outage. There is this.
A new intelligence briefing from the Department of Homeland Security warns that would-be domestic hackers have increasingly discussed targeting fiber optic cables across the U.S. A briefing memo obtained by ABC News was distributed to law enforcement and government agencies around the country. DHS analysts note that the fiber optic threat is more serious because more work is being done from remote locations with less oversight since the COVID pandemic. The document notes some of the talk describes fiber optic cables as low-cost, high-reward targets to disrupt critical infrastructure.
That is Derek Dennis reporting. Here in Nashville, a man is on the run, and police say he likely needs a doctor immediately. Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac tells us what happened when a carjacker shot a man, and then the man who was shot turned his car into a weapon against the carjacker.
The man was shot in the jaw. He then drove around the building to get away, but saw the suspect try to carjack a woman, and that's when the man tried to stop him, hitting the suspect with his car and pitting him between the two vehicles. The woman then climbed out into the passenger side door out of her car, and then the suspect jumped in her car and drove off.
Yeah, that happened at the McDonald's on Nolensville Pike and Rosedale Avenue. This man stole a Nissan Cube with damage to the driver's side door, which police say should be very noticeable. So if you see a vehicle matching that description, call them. By the way, the man who was shot in the jaw, fortunately, he's expected to survive. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a Guaranteed Offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation.
10:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram. All of them are the same, at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. We got a call from Matt in Smyrna. Matt in Smyrna calls all the time. He tries to give us the counterpoint. He says he's an independent, but I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that. But he was arguing with me. I made the point earlier that when Biden does media, he gets softball questions. Matt disagreed. He didn't have any evidence to bring to the table, but I don't know. What would you say on the members' nutrition text line, the response to Matt? Overwhelmingly positive?
A flood of texts.
A flood of support for Matt.
Yeah, for sure.
A flood. Everybody.
They do like Matt. I don't think it's for the reasons that Matt would want, but.
Yeah. And we always get some calls. People want to respond to that. Katrina in the borough wants to talk about fairness. Katrina, you're next on Super Talk. What's up?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, look, I used to be a very big Biden supporter and also like the Black Lives Matter, and I kind of can see this on all perspectives. My son would always say, that Biden doesn't get the fairness that Trump did. And he was actually mad that I was a Biden supporter. Let me get this straight. I was kind of tongue-tied. And I felt like I was all by myself, but it was a lot of media brainwashing for me, and I was not seeing the other side, right? So I listened to you guys for years, but I have turned to the Trump side, and I would rather Trump be honest, and I'm glad he gets the hard questions because he's kind of like us. Like, we make mistakes, and if we're human, then we'll, account for those mistakes. But Biden won't accept any responsibility for anything that he's done. My husband is actually Hispanic, and I get to see the Mexican side and the Mexico side of it also. And it's not what the media says. I mean, the problem is huge with Mexico, and my husband agrees that, why are we getting flooded with all of these immigrants? And I just like that Trump is very honest, and I can
So what was
kind of, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to get it across. But,
No. I hear you, and first of all, welcome. We're glad to have you.
I see the light, but you also got to be open to it, right? And
okay, but
learn.
So what I've learned though is it takes one moment for people to go, oh, and then from there you start questioning everything as far as the lies from the media and the hoaxes and the narratives. What was the one moment for you that kind of was the light bulb moment where you go, maybe Orange Man, not so bad?
Well, my research on Biden and what he's done for nobody and what Trump has done, like for the black colleges, they don't have to come back and apply for a lot of things. And
yeah, well, they had before Trump.
I can relate.
Before Trump, the HBCUs had to go every single year and beg for money, and Trump said, okay, you have to come back every year. He's like, let's just finance you out. I think it was 10 years at that point.
Yeah, and nobody will see that. And, and the Hispanics, my husband loves Trump, loves Putin. And I was just so felt by myself. My son's black, and he's like, Mom, quit. He hates Biden and Obama. And he's like, Mom, you've got to do your research. You've got to look and, listen to other things and be open-minded. And I was just like, wow, why was I in the dark so bad? Almost embarrassing. But, I relate to Trump. And, yes, he's done bad things. But, almost like I don't want to throw religion out there. But, the plank in your eye, kind of sweep your porch and before you sweep mine because, we all have done bad things. And if you say you haven't, then you're like Biden. You don't account for those, and you don't be like, yeah, I kind of messed up, but
hey,
whatever. But he does a lot of good things. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. I really appreciate the call, Katrina, and I think it takes a lot of strength to be like, hey, I was on the other side and I was wrong, because a lot of stuff but so my older sister is hopelessly liberal. And she doesn't listen to the show, so I'll just be as open as I can. She would never listen to the show. She's hopelessly liberal, and she's an educator. Her friends are hopelessly liberal. She watches hopelessly liberal shows, so it's like for her to accept the truth. I always say you would lose everything, because you question one thing and then you question everything. It's like you would lose your friends, you'd lose your entertainment, you might not really identify with what you're doing at your job any longer. All these things would start falling apart, and I feel like a lot of people just lean in on the confirmation bias when it comes to the mainstream media and the narratives that they're pushing.
Absolutely, and I was the same way. And one other thing that made me, I don't want to bring in like the transgender and stuff because I was very for it where everybody else wasn't. But I'm 44 and I'm having a lot of premenstrual problems and hormonal, and I just a lot of other things that I need a partial hysterectomy for, and they will not give it to me. Absolutely won't. And when I found out Vanderbilt was like giving 12-year-olds full hysterectomies and all this with no questions asked, I'm like, my family's suffering, I'm suffering, and I can't get any help. And, I actually have to have cancer cells or something to get help. But that was something that was really big in my life that kind of changed my views on, doing that to the children.
Yeah, absolutely. Leave the kids alone. And
absolutely. We could go on, and I don't want to take up your time.
No, I love this kind of stuff. And here's the thing: it's like, as far as the left, they would be so upset if you showed up in blackface, but they're okay with grown men showing up in woman face.
And boy, can I tell you the jokes that my son will be racially telling with his friends? And I'm like, I used to be like, oh my God, why'd you say that? Why'd you say that? And they're like, Mama, stop. Like, that's how we talk to each other. And I'm like, oh, but you can't say that. And they're like, I talk to my boys like that. We talk to, And
yeah. Oh yeah. The next generation, they're pushing back against this. I think that there's a lot of hope.
I hope so. But y'all have a great day.
Hey, you too. Every generation rebels, and the generation coming up now, the best way that they can rebel is be conservative, religious, and have a family and a good job.
Absolutely, but I'm voting for Trump, and so will my family.
Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate you, Katrina. Dave in Hendersonville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Dave?
What's up, buddy?
How we doing, man? I haven't talked to you in a while. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been taking a break from the media somewhat.
I hear you. Every now and then you gotta defog, right?
Yeah, you gotta kind of disconnect a little bit, but been talking to the higher power, which is no offense, he's a lot better company.
Oh, I completely agree. I don't take any offense to that.
Right. Hey, that caller, I know it's your job, and it's in a way it could be fun, but really people like that's waste of time because they don't have any facts. They come out and try to push the narrative.
Yep.
And when it comes down to a point of proving something or having facts, then they try to change the subject because they know they can't handle the conversation. They don't have anything to go with it. And I got a question for him, so I hope he's still listening. If Joe Biden is so good as what he's doing, I won't never call him the president because he ain't been one from day one and he tried to. But if he's so good, how come he has not come out and condemned all these protesters that's chanting death to America?
Yeah, well, it's. I'll tell you why. I mean, and we probably both know. It's because he's worried about losing his voters in the radical left base. He's not radically left enough for his base. So he can't condemn them. He can't condemn them. It's a joke. Hey, Dave, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, buddy. I done my home.
Yeah, there's the horn, always. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you, man.
See you, buddy.
Later. Jeff in Gallatin, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Jeff?
Good morning. I have a question for Matt.
Okay, and just let me just reset real quick. Let me just reset real quick. Matt was a caller that we had earlier. He calls in quite often to provide counterpoints, and he doesn't think that the mainstream media is giving Joe Biden softball interviews and questions. All right, you go. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, so my question for Matt is, I'm an independent voter, and I'm ready to make up my mind on who I'm getting ready to vote for. Have Matt, next time he calls, give us 3 reasons why we should vote for Joe Biden.
Well, here's the thing. Matt will come on and he'll trash Trump and try to disparage him as best he can. But in the same breath, he'll say, well, I don't have anything really good to say about Biden. He doesn't. There's nothing good to say about Biden. I feel like Matt's part of the vote blue no matter who crowd.
Well, that's the kind of people that we have to get out there. So that's what we're fighting up against. I mean, it's. I think there's going to be some good now that Trump is locked up in court for a while. Maybe some of these folks in the city up there will have their eyes opened up. I mean, it's looking like he's getting welcomed with open arms everywhere he goes. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it is amazing to. Hey, I appreciate your call, Jeff. It's amazing to see the media covering Trump in New York and then see the people's reaction to Trump in New York, because we can see it all in real time live on social media now. It's amazing, the difference. But Joe Biden will go out there and say, oh, that stubborn economy. It's really just it's all junk fees and overdraft fees fault. It's not my fault. You're having a tough time struggling to live because of these junk fees. Mike in Chattanooga, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Mike?
Hey, man. Overdraft thing. Well, see, I get Social Security only.
Yes, sir.
And my bank, all banks have overdraft protection if you sign up. Well, they started this new program where you can get a bigger overdraft protection. So it started out $500 over if you need to go over. Well, they charge you a fee, of course, but that fee is better than a bounce check on both ends, you know, and then a bad check record. So bad part is it snowballs. It's kind of like one of these title loan things that people can't get out of, because what they do is, okay, you use that overdraft protection, and then your next check that comes, they take that right off the top. So you're behind already for your month, so you wind up using that at the next time.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, I feel you, and I've been there before myself some years ago, and it's like I think a lot of people can actually relate to that. But I think that the main issue that we're not looking at when Joe Biden tries to change the conversation from the economy to overdraft fees and junk fees is that, well, if housing wasn't so expensive and food wasn't so expensive and the inflation wasn't so crazy, my fixed income would still be rocking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we wouldn't be doing that. We wouldn't have to do that.
Exactly.
Now, hey, one quick thing, real quick. You had a guest on, or was it your kid that's a giant kid trying to play sports? Was it a guest you had on? I don't know. Maybe Matt had him. But anyway, we had a kid like that when our kids played ball.
I think this is Cameron Smith. I think this is Cameron Smith's son. Yeah.
We had to take they had to take his birth certificate everywhere they went to each game to show that this kid was actually that young, that he wasn't an older kid trying to play on that small league.
Isn't it amazing that you have to bring a birth certificate to prove your kid's a certain age to play sports, but you don't have to do it? You don't have to prove citizenship to vote.
Yeah, I know. Or show any identification. Well, at least where I vote, they do want to see your driver's license every time.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's cool. Tennessee, good. Well, go Trump. And, man, you got a good show, and everything negative about Biden, yes.
Hey, I appreciate you, Mike in Chattanooga. Do we go pretty close to Chattanooga, right? I mean, this signal on WTN is strong.
Oh, yeah.
And you can listen to us wherever you go with the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app. You can get the show on your podcast platform, whether it's Apple or Spotify. If you missed any of my interviews yesterday or earlier this week, they're all up there, from Savannah Hernandez to John Amachukwu, Bernadette Pager, and Sarah Maccabee, all in podcast digestible form. It's 1021 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I do have to tell you about my friends at the Glock Store. You've heard us talking about the Glock Store and all these just awesome events that they have. We've been talking about the open house that's coming up, their annual open house. It's their 4th. That's on Saturday, June 1st. That's coming fast. So make sure you save the day for that, because I'll be there, Mandis will be there, Murphy will be there, whole squad. But did you actually know that the Glock Store hosts all kinds of events? Birthday parties? Yeah, birthday parties at the Glock Store. Mac, when you turn 19, we are taking you to the Glock store for your birthday party. They also do retirement celebrations, bachelor and bachelorette parties. Could you imagine a gang of woo girls down at the Glock store for a bachelorette party? These things happen, and they do team building exercises, fundraising events. They do anything. For example, Davidson County Republican Party, they're holding their annual Shooting Stars fundraiser this Saturday, April 20th at the Glock store. And you can actually still join the fun on that. They'll have meet and greets with local politicos, so you can meet some local Republicans. Matt Murphy is going to be there, so you'll also be able to meet a libertarian with a little L. They're going to have shooting competitions with great prizes. And just by getting an entry ticket, you could walk out of the Glock store that night with a brand new Glock 43X, just by getting a ticket. If you want a ticket for the Davidson County Republican Party's annual Shooting Stars fundraiser, go to gopnashville.com and click on Shooting Stars. And if you're thinking about throwing your own party at the Glock store, it's honestly, I'm going to tell you, it's the best idea you've ever had. I don't think you've had a better idea than that. So if you want to throw your own party at the Glock store, call 615-682-6565. That's 615-682-6565. And tell the person who answers, I have the best idea. I want to throw a party at the Glock store. And they'll make it happen at a price you can afford. That's 615-682-6565. It's the Glock store, ready for your next event, minute from the airport, and worth the drive from anywhere.
Populations of animals. I mean, think about the white-tailed deer and how when Ed started, and maybe even before Ed a little bit, they started, working to bring these populations back. And now we have these sustainable populations that we can hunt.
Yeah.
The story of the eastern wild turkey and what's happening with turkeys. So I would consider all these things great successes. The conservation efforts that have been worked on by the personnel for years, I would think that it's a great success story for our state.
You're going to see some footage from an old film that was produced here at the agency in the Game and Fish days, and which shows some things like, the wife taking care of the animal that the officer, the husband, had to bring home to take care of, because they got a call, and times have changed. Now we have the rehabilitators that help out with that kind of thing. And
thank goodness. We got to be really good friends with some of those little animals. And my first commission in 1972.
Okay, yeah.
At that time, it was a little different. The whole law enforcement world was different then. So anyway, we got the first commission in 1972 and worked all over the state. It was really great to be able to do that. Pretty much, you had one uniform. And I noticed in the movie too, everybody wearing ties. For years and years, you had to. If you wore a long sleeve shirt, you had to wear a tie. It didn't matter if you were doing enforcement or sailing a pond or whatever you were doing. You had that tie on.
Oh wow!
Wow!
And then everybody looked forward. There was one date, and it kind of moved. It was generally around April the 1st. You switched from long sleeves to short sleeves, and you didn't have to wear a tie. And everybody's going, "Come on, April 1st."
All right. Got rolling roadblocks due to pothole repair in Robertson County. Right now, 65 northbound through White House. And then got some road work, right exit lane block. That's 24 westbound at the I-440 exit. Tennessee moving closer to banning reparations for descendants of slaves. This story and more at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. Looking forward to that. It's 10:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Andon, the distinguished gentleman from Lebanon, Tennessee. Our friend Calvin has been waiting on hold. What's up, Calvin?
Hey, Chris.
How are you, sir?
I just wanted to say I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm good. You sound fired up. What's up?
Well, you got to get fired up because, you hear a guy like Matt call in. Bless his heart, But what is he thinking about? The left is fighting a fight for all the wrong reasons, which is power. Trump, when you sit back and you think about him, he's got all the ingredients to walk away from this. He's got money. He's got grandkids. I don't know if he has great grandkids. He's got all the reasons to step away from this and just say, the heck with it. And he doesn't. And I believe it's for the love of the country. I believe it's for the love of the American people and future generations like your kids' kids.
I'm so with you because any other man would just say, yeah, I'll go hang out on the beach and chill.
Exactly. I mean, we should feel blessed in this desperate time that there is a presidential candidate on the ballot that is going through everything he's going through. And then you hear someone like Matt call in, and it's got to fire you up because this man is fighting for all the right reasons. He's fighting for me. He's fighting for Chris's kids and his wife. He's fighting for my wife and my grandkids.
Amen.
He doesn't have to do this. And we better hope we get him in because if we don't, we're screwed.
No, and it seems like there's only two kind of people running right now. Either you genuinely love the country and you're just in it for the right reasons, or you're in it because you want power and money and the wrong reasons. There is absolutely no in between, and you have to basically decide which side you're on.
Yeah, and I don't see another candidate that could take Trump's position that wouldn't just throw in the towel. Everyone is so scared. I don't know any other conservative that is fighting the fight like Trump is when he has everything to walk away for. I don't know. I just don't understand some people's thinking, but that's what I had to say.
Hey, I hear you, Calvin. I appreciate your call, man, as always.
Thank you.
Hey, Senator Kennedy out of Louisiana sounds an awful lot like Calvin.
That's right. That's exactly right. We've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Yeah, Senator Kennedy sounds like Calvin. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Tell you about this severe weather threat that is elevated. The U.S. has leveled more sanctions on Iran for Saturday's attack on Israel. This latest round targets 16 people in two groups, including Iran's largest steel producer and a car maker that makes vehicles for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Right now in Tennessee, a bill that blocks local governments from dispersing money for or even just studying reparations to descendants of slaves is advancing in the General Assembly. Democrats have tried but failed to add amendments to leave it up to local governments to decide. Jury selection resumes this morning for the criminal trial involving alleged hush money payments and former President Donald Trump, and legal experts say it's about to get a little slower once each side can no longer just dismiss a juror for any reason apart from race. Then the fights start over whether and why jurors should be dismissed. 7 jurors were sworn in on Tuesday. And the spring home buying season is off to a sluggish start as home shoppers contend with elevated mortgage rates and rising prices. Just under 4.25 million homes sold in March, representing a 4.3% drop from February, when there was a 10% jump in home sales month over month. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
10:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Biden's Cannibal campaign tour. It made a stop in Pittsburgh yesterday. That's what I'm calling it. So you heard it here first, the Cannibal campaign tour. He was at one point he's doing his remarks. I thought we were going to get a middle from the middle.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
He was really close. He was really close.
Heard me say it before. Wall Street didn't build America. The middle class didn't build America, and you guys built the middle class. Unions built it.
Oh,
he was right there.
He was
right there. Any middle from the middle. Rich people do good, and poor folks have a shot.
Got a chance.
You got a chance. Telling me there's a chance. But, I mean, we played the Sheets audio where he went through the sheets after this campaign stop in Pittsburgh, which was just a train wreck. But his campaign stop was a train wreck, too. So they got to hop this guy up on all sorts of things, right, to get him juiced, ready. And then he still spits out gibberish.
My mom didn't live in Scranton since she was 1954. But
Mom didn't live in Scranton since she was 1954. And then he dropped this. You know, he's got to glean himself to the locals, right? And be like, I'm one of you. That's really what all these campaign stops are about. I'm a human. I'm just like you. So Joe does it in the most Joe way possible.
I'm Pittsburgh, and I really mean it.
I'm Pittsburgh because I really mean it.
I'm Pittsburgh, and I really mean it.
So I have this highlight reel that I've decided I'm going to start adding to. So I have a highlight reel of Joe Biden because Joe's raised in every community. So I'm gonna copy and paste the Pittsburgh because I really mean it right to the front, and we'll just keep adding as the campaign goes on. We'll keep adding new ones right to the front.
I'm Pittsburgh, and I really mean it. I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community. I had a very close relationship with the Greek American community, for real. I am Joe Bidenopoulos. I grew up in a heavily Irish Catholic community in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and a heavily Italian Polish community. When I say I got raised in the black church, he knows I'm not kidding. The Persian culture is amazing. As a student of the Persian culture, I probably went to shul more than many of you. I come out of the black community. The background of my family is Irish American, not fundamentally unlike the Palestinian people. I might say raised in the synagogues of my state. Everybody in town was either Polish or Italian. I grew up feeling self-conscious. My name didn't end in an SKI. I was raised in a neighborhood where I felt self-conscious. My name didn't end in O. That's kind of how I was raised, like so many Americans of Irish heritage.
In HBCU in your home state, Mr. President.
Let me tell you, forget about it. That's right. That's where I got raised, man. Just like rabbis, synagogues, and Jewish community centers in your hometown, and that's the tradition I got raised. Hard-working people, the middle class, the neighborhoods I got raised in. I was raised on GM. I was raised by Danny Inouye. I was raised by a righteous Christian. I got raised on automobiles.
All right, so we add Pittsburgh to the list.
So he's a Catholic Jew.
He's in Pittsburgh, we call him Yinzers. He's a Yinzer, Catholic, Jew, Irish, Polish, Italian, Greek, who was raised at an HBCU that was in a black community that was a Jewish community.
Okay.
And he's a student of the Persian culture, like so many are. And he also was raised on GM. And I mean, there's a lot there. I think I'm.
There's a lot. I think you're close, brother Chris.
I feel like I'm missing a couple. Yeah, I'm definitely missing one. Definitely missing one. But he's I think what we're trying to demonstrate is he's well-rounded.
Yeah.
He's well-rounded. Who else is immersed in that many cultures and communities? You show me another candidate running for president that can identify with that many communities.
Boy.
You got nobody else. So that's that was one of those my favorites until this happened.
And on Sunday, the next day, my mother's 4 brothers all went down to the recruiting station and joined the military. Every one of them volunteered.
So he's talking about his great uncle. I'm not going to interrupt this anymore. It's a little bit longer than I usually like to play, but I don't want to ruin the story.
And my uncle, they called him Ambrose, they called him Bosie. My Uncle Bosie was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid.
He played flanker back.
And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. And he got shot down in New Guinea. And they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
Okay.
And then my son volunteered to go to Iraq for a year, and he came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. And they gave, like many of you, risked your lives, and you know people who gave their lives to the country. They're heroes. But one of the things that as I was doing that today, I was reminded of what my opponent said in Paris not too long ago. They asked him to go visit American grave sites. He said no, he wouldn't do it because they were all suckers and losers. I'm not making that up. The staff who was with him acknowledged it today. Suckers and losers. That man doesn't deserve to have been the commander-in-chief for my son.
He almost cries at the end as he's peddling the false lie of suckers and losers. But I don't know. Had you ever heard that his uncle was potentially eaten by cannibals?
I just like the fact that he was a hell of an athlete.
Hell of an athlete. Flanker back. He was a flanker back.
What is that? As weird as this story is, what does that even have to do with what he was telling? That his uncle was a hell of an athlete.
And that he was eaten by cannibals in New Guinea.
Oh.
So I did do some research. His uncle did fly a plane. It did go down. They say it went down in the ocean because of engine failure. He was in a crew with 4 guys. They never recovered the body, probably because it was in the ocean.
Yeah.
Have no idea where the cannibal claim comes from. I have no idea. But it didn't stop Joe from repeating the cannibal story a second time.
Ambrose
Finnegan. But Uncle Bosie.
Ambrose Finnegan, when they called him Uncle Bosie, he was shot down. He was an Army Air Corps before there was an Air Force.
He wasn't shot down by cannibals. The official report says engine failure.
He flew single-engine planes, reconnaissance flights over New Guinea. He had volunteered because someone couldn't make it.
He said his uncle volunteered because someone couldn't make it.
He got shot down in an area where there were a lot of cannibals in New Guinea at the time. They never recovered his body, but the government went back when I went down there and they checked and found some parts of the plane and the like.
So there's a weird part in the second telling of the story where he says they never found his body, but the government went back when I was there and they found parts of the plane. So like it's an interesting wrinkle. When did that happen?
Right.
Because he goes on to repeat the suckers and losers hoax here, and he says that while he was looking at the parts of the planes, that's what he was thinking about. So if you date back the suckers and losers hoax, that was in 2018 it allegedly happened. So at some point between 2018 and 2024, they recovered old Uncle Bosie's plane, parts of the plane. Am I following? Oh, hold on. Let's see what Joe has to say about Uncle Bosie.
And what I was thinking about when I was standing there.
looking at the parts of Uncle Bosie's plane.
Was when Trump refused to go up to the memorial for veterans in Paris, and he said they're a bunch of suckers and losers.
Okay. So Uncle Bosie's plane, according to Joe Biden, was shot down by cannibals, and that's why the body wasn't recovered. And then at some point between 2018 and 2024, he was there. The government went back with him. They recovered parts of the plane. And as he's standing there, all he could think about was Trump saying he didn't want to visit a cemetery because of suckers and losers are there, which is, again, a falsehood that has been disproven many, many times. They couldn't visit a cemetery because of dense fog, if I recall correctly. But at some point between 2018 and 2024, Biden went there with the government and was looking at the wreckage from Uncle Bosie's plane. Is it wrong of me to say I don't believe this? Or should I take it at face value?
Apparently the mainstream media does.
Poor Uncle Bosie. He never had a shot against those cannibals. This would have happened in 1944. So the wreckage of the plane, of Uncle Bosie's plane, has been there since 1944, and the government went back there. Right? Am I following that correctly?
That's what he says.
That's what he says.
Volunteered because someone couldn't make it. Got shot down in an area where there were a lot of cannibals in the beginning at the time. They never recovered his body, but the government went back when I went down there and they checked and found some parts of the plane.
The government went back when I went down there and checked and found parts of the plane from a crash in 1944 where the plane suffered engine failure and crashed into the ocean before cannibals ate Uncle Bosie. So again, this crash, there is some truth to the crash,
right?
And I think that needs to be stated. But it was in 1944. It was a 4-man crew. It was not a reconnaissance plane, like he states. And there was engine failure, according to the reports, and it went into the ocean. But at some point between 2018 and 2024, Joe Biden went back with the government, and they found the planes, but they didn't find Uncle Bosie, and that's because of cannibals. So, R.I.P. Uncle Bosie. And nobody in the media questions it. Nobody has anything to say about the cannibals in Uncle Bosie story. They'll go on mainstream media and lambaste Trump for saying that the auto industry is going to deal with a bloodbath and say he's calling for a bloodbath, but they won't make a peep out of whether or not the government went to recover Uncle Bosie's plane between 2018 and 2024 with Joe Biden and, cannibals. It's a weird world. I didn't think that we were going to be able to top the shower shaving cream story in a bathroom with a sink and a toilet.
It's been an embarrassment of riches.
Frank in Oak Grove, can you provide some clarity on the cannibals for me?
Well, I used to be just an avid program archer of Gilligan's Island, and the cannibals had boats. They had a little canoe thing with the outriggers. They saw the plane go down, and they probably said, "Ooga booga, there's dinner." And when I paddled out there, got it.
All right, so we're going. Listen, Frank, we're going to fact check your claim of cannibals having boats.
Yeah, Bulu was one of the Gilligan's Island Bulu Steve Boomba.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
All right, cannibals have boats. We learn so much here together. Can you fact check the claim on whether or not cannibals have boats? Do the cannibals in New Guinea have a navy? I feel like all this has led to is more questions.
Exactly.
The desperate search for answers will continue. I promise you. Because it's the Chris Hand Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand, and I have to tell you about my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And I have to be honest with you. I preach that if you don't get your annual maintenance, you're waiting for a problem to pop up. And I was delaying my annual maintenance. And I myself had a problem pop up just a couple days ago. And I was like, golly, I'm gonna have to tell this story on the radio because I had to call Busy Bee. I didn't get my maintenance. I'm having an issue, and I literally tell people, get your maintenance so you don't have an issue. So I called Busy Bee. I didn't drop the line. I didn't say, hey, this is Chris Hand from WTN. I just called him, and I said, I'm a Beehive member. I have an issue. When can you get out there? They said, well, we'll be there today. They were there in less than an hour. My friend Joe Henry came over. He did all of the fixing in less than an hour, and we had AC that night. He said, you know what happened? You didn't get your annual maintenance. I said, Joe, I know, and I'm embarrassed. Let this be a warning sign, and I don't want this to happen to you. Get your annual maintenance. You're going to be kicking on your AC. If you don't get the annual maintenance, you're going to be like me, and you're going to have a problem pop up. Do it today and call who I trust, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you've been kicking the can down the road because you need to replace your AC because it went out at the end of last season, do it now because you're not going to find a better value on replacement systems. You want to do it before the heat sets in and stays there. If you need to replace your AC system, you're not going to find a better value than Busy Bee. They offer up to 12 months with no payment, no interest, and approved credit. And it'll pay in so many ways to sign up to be a Beehive member. It happened to me when I had to get a little repair done. I got 10% off on my repairs. And when you're a Beehive member, you get front of the line service. That happened to me. Plus, it comes with no overtime charges 24/7 and that thorough annual maintenance on your plumbing, heating, and air systems. They'll always come see you on Saturday. They have those convenient availability hours for maintenance calls, so you'll never be left waiting to have your system fixed. Busy Bee, your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833 or online at busybeehvac.com.
I know. It's like, oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. That's okay.
Got road work in the way. Right lane is blocked. That is the exit lane. 24 westbound. They're at 440. Exit 53. More sanctions against Iran. This story and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And my uncle, they called him Ambrose Brozak.
That's Joe Biden. Talk about cannibals.
Eating his Uncle Bozy.
Poor Uncle Bozy. R.I.P. So I tried to find, I was like, so is there a group called Fine Young Cannibals? The song didn't fit, but it had enough instrumental on the front that I could do it.
Yeah.
You made it work, yeah.
I made it work. Do you remember this song?
I don't think so.
I do. From what I remember, too, they were really good athletes before they went into music.
Really? We had home videos that they would do on the VHS, and I remember my older sister on one tape at like 9 singing this on a kitchen chair. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes and more sanctions against Iran for Saturday's missile and drone attack on Israel. The U.S. Treasury Department says it's sanctioning 16 people and 2 groups, including Iran's largest producer of steel, to hurt the country's $7 billion a year industry there. Also a car maker that supplies the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Here in Tennessee, the state is moving closer to banning reparations for descendants of slaves. News 2 says legislation's advancing that prohibits local governments from dispersing money for the purpose of reparations. And it's not just money the bill blocks, but any benefits, too. Democrats have tried to add amendments to leave reparations to local governments to decide, but have failed, and now they're calling Republicans racist. Right now in New York City, in the hush money trial of former President Trump.
A new batch of potential jurors being brought into the court, several members registering surprise upon entering the courtroom and seeing the former president at the defense table. The court delivering statements to those jurors and notifying them of potential witnesses in the case. The judge then asking for a show of hands whether any of them believe they could not be fair and impartial. 48 people, about half the pool, raised their hands and were dismissed.
Yeah, Mark Remillard says so far just 7 jurors have been selected. Texas, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Nevada all reporting 911 emergency calls were blocked for about 2 hours overnight. Some 911 systems reported problems with calls from landlines. Others said callers from cell phones couldn't get through. Services have been restored, but it's unclear what caused the outages, though the Del Rio, Texas Police Department says the issue was traced to a major cellular carrier. Some 240 million calls are placed to 911 in the U.S. each year. That's according to the National Emergency Number Association. And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at MembersNutrition.com. You hear us talking about Members Nutrition a lot. They sponsor the Super Text line. They're good people, and they want to help you get back to a healthy lifestyle. Well, how do you do that? Well, a lot of people do it with vitamins and supplements. But when you buy those vitamins and supplements off the big box store shelves, you don't really know where they're coming from. At MembersNutrition.com, all the vitamins and supplements you get them, and they're made right here in the USA. You can't say that about the big stores, but you can at MembersNutrition.com. Every vitamin and supplement they have is made right here in the USA. And if you want to jumpstart your journey into a healthier lifestyle, you can do it with the Youthful Cleanse by Daily Defense. I've done the Youthful Cleanse by Daily Defense. Murphy's done it. And it's so important to give yourself that head start when you're getting healthy, because the air we breathe, the food we eat, the stress in our lives, it's building up toxicity in our body. You want to flush all of that out. You want that optimal gut health. You want to cleanse the liver and do all those things. And you can do it with the Youthful Cleanse by Daily Defense. After you do that, MembersNutrition.com can help you continue your health journey, whether it's immunity supplements or weight loss detox like the cleanse or just general men's health or women's health. I hear Dan singing the praises of the relaxation supplements. They have it all at MembersNutrition.com. And if you become a member at MembersNutrition.com, you'll get even larger discounts than what they're already giving you, like 50% off. Hit the website now. Find what you need for your health journey at membersnutrition.com. That's membersnutrition.com. $11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you to everyone on the Members Nutrition text line reminding Mac to turn his mic off.
Well, I just felt like it needed to be a bigger part of the segment, you know?
Yeah, well, Belle came in and was talking to you while we were talking about cannibals and Uncle Bozy.
Yeah, so I mean, I needed to be heard.
You needed to
needed my airtime.
Did you fact check cannibals and boats?
Yep.
Do they have boats?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Terrifying. That is nightmare fuel.
I love when I fact check things because there's no depth of questioning. It's like, really? Terrifying.
What do you want? I trust you.
No, I know. It's great. I know. I love it. I've got a lot of
This
power.
is why you have the fact check reigns.
Exactly.
Fact check that and fact check true.
Exactly.
Fact check true. Many cannibals with boats. Oh, we had somebody waiting on the line to talk about Uncle Bozy.
Oh, dang. Come on.
What are your thoughts on Uncle Bozy?
Uncle Bozy? Fought for a good cause. Too bad. Too bad the cannibals got him.
It's too bad.
Really is sad.
We can't keep letting these cannibals get away with it.
No, I looked up at one article. It was like, it seems like Biden's theory is conflicting with some of what history says.
Really? They're writing articles about that?
Oh, yeah.
Who wrote the article?
Oh, gosh, I'd have to find it again. I looked it up just today, so let me see. Let me see if I can find it for you. But yeah, it was good.
And it blows my mind. It's like, I don't know, the Democrats can't control the narrative because here we are, Mike Johnson's facing a motion to vacate. And we're like, bro, did Joe Biden say his uncle was eaten by cannibals? It's like, they're dominating the news cycle again.
It was written by The Telegraph, and it says, "Cannibals ate my uncle," claims Biden. Mr. Biden's theory, however, is contradicted by official war records of Lieutenant Finnegan's death, which suggests that his aircraft, an A-20 Havoc, suffered engine failure over the Pacific.
That's what these are the reports.
Yeah, these are what was reported. But maybe they wouldn't report cannibals. Who knows? Maybe they lied.
What was the cause of death? I think is really important. Was the cause of death plane crash?
Investigators also found no evidence that he survived the crash or that he encountered cannibals or any other inhabitants of Pacific Islands.
But they're out there.
Yeah, that does kind of insinuate that they are inhabitants of somewhere.
Also, if you need to ask people questions, cannibals probably aren't the ones to ask. Have you ever seen the CNN interview? I forget which reporter it was, but he went and like met with some cannibals and ate.
Whoa.
He like ate human flesh with the cannibals. You don't remember that?
No.
I gotta find the CNN reporter cannibals. He went and he met Reza Aslan. He was face to face with a cannibal sect, and he ate cooked human brain tissue. This is CNN. Why would you do that?
Ugh. Yeah, that's gross.
Would you?
I'm out.
You wouldn't?
Yeah, I'm out.
In on clam strips, out on human
Very
brain
in on
tissue?
clam strips, yeah.
What if the human brain tissue was deep fried?
Now we're talking.
Little tartar sauce. Do
I
you
got
think
a picture.
Do you think cannibals are dippers?
Get your marinara.
Do you know what I
get
mean?
some
Like,
ketchup.
or do you think they're cool with it, a la carte?
Yeah, I'm sure it's like any other, Yeah, need some barbecue sauce.
Depends if Chick-fil-A is sold in stores.
Do you think cannibals partake in Chick-fil-A sauce?
I would if I was a
Yeah,
cannibal.
I would.
Yeah, I feel like you'd have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do something.
Yeah, I think even like vampires are taking part in Chick-fil-A sauce. Everyone wants that.
This is true.
Well, the toes are just like bites.
Yeah, the CNN cannibal thing was wild. This was like, when did this happen? I want to find the date. It doesn't have a date on it. This was a while ago. He like went and met Reza Aslan. Went and met with cannibals.
Oh, thanks.
They put like a spicy pepper crown on him.
All right. Okay. Maybe I'll take this off right now and then
Cannibal slaps his face and he's like, no.
just thank you. All right. Okay. Thank you. Why are people on that side of the river so afraid of the Agori?
Well, you're cannibals. All right, I'll read the subtitles for you. He said...
Why are people on that side of the river so afraid of the Agori?
Should we eat the living? Shall I show you by eating my own flesh? Then call me an Agori.
Why do...
He said, I will cut off your head if you keep talking so much.
Feel like this may have been a mistake. Just like somebody distracts him and I just leave.
That's CNN. I feel like meeting with cannibals was a mistake. He's threatening to remove my head. Maybe we should distract him and leave. We'll continue the search for Uncle Bozy at a later date. Yeah, this is CNN. All right, do we do real news? Want to do real news?
We could.
You think so?
All right.
I feel like we could do cannibals all day.
Oh yeah, it's our bread and butter.
Yeah, this is true. Do you think they serve bread first? You think?
Sally on the Members Nutrition Super Text line says, I prefer sweet and sour eyeballs.
This is true. Who doesn't?
Of course.
I think they have them at Toots. All right, so we're heading towards 2024, and big tech censorship is back. YouTube went and retroactively removed quite a few episodes of Timcast IRL. Are you familiar with Timcast IRL? Tim Pool and those guys. They do a nightly show. It's pretty good. I would watch it. I watched it a lot more in years past. I haven't watched as much lately. But Timcast IRL, it's like they do a round table. They have politicians in. It's like it's more of a conversation. I think they do an awesome job. But YouTube has gone back and removed shows that featured Joe Rogan, which is weird because he's just the biggest podcaster in the world, right? Alex Jones, no explanation needed, and Michael Malice, who's another political commentator. And they took down, they're saying, 2 of their biggest shows ever, featuring Joe Rogan, Michael Malice, and Alex Jones, because they've retroactively started enforcing rules. So he revealed Wednesday that YouTube has retroactively enforced its rules to remove the 2 biggest episodes of the podcast. They feature Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, Michael Malice. These episodes are 3 years old. 3 years old. And they're saying that YouTube has declared war. Poole said that YouTube gave him BS reasons for the removal of these episodes, which he told the Post-Millennial included allegations that they promoted the QAnon conspiracy theory as well as medical misinformation. Medical misinformation. They're back doing that. On the episodes aired in 2021, they featured a discussion among Joe Rogan and Alex Jones covering various topics, including the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, the border crisis, and they're saying YouTube's actions come as no surprise given its past crackdowns on Alex Jones. But according to YouTube, they took them down because of the guidelines under hate speech, harassment, and the medical misinformation policy. Isn't that fascinating? That's the soft censorship of the left. We're going to retroactively start removing things and erase episodes from history. Because I don't have the episodes in question memorized, but if they're going at medical misinformation, if these episodes are 3 years old, I can only assume that it includes the Joe Rogan ivermectin issue, which they screamed from the mountaintops that Joe Rogan was taking horse medicine and horse dewormer. Remember that? And he wasn't. He was prescribed ivermectin by a doctor, and everybody labeled him a crazy conspiracy theorist for trying to defeat COVID that way, which is it's interesting. It's interesting that they do it retroactively, and they didn't do it in real time. Now, there's other tech news. Elon Musk could be bringing back Vine. Do you remember Vine?
Do I remember Vine?
Were you on Vine?
Of course.
So Elon is...
Vine was awesome.
He's teasing the possibility of the return of the platform Vine. He posted to his account asking, bring back Vine?
Yeah, Vine would be great.
Do you think that they're trying to do this as a way to get ahead of TikTok essentially possibly being banned?
Yeah, I mean, banned or not, yeah, just trying to get some of that market. Yeah, the video, the clips, yeah.
Twitter purchased Vine in 2012 because social media in 2012 was weird. I think we can all agree. We had 2012, 2013, you had Facebook snatched up Instagram for like $1 billion. Twitter purchased Vine in 2012. And then there was also Snapchat was big at the time. Do you remember Yik Yak? Did you Yik Yak?
Yep. I didn't do it, but yeah, I remember it.
Yik Yak, it was like an anonymous posting.
Yeah.
It was more college campus oriented.
I think
if I recall correctly. I think they still have it.
I think it's back. I think it made a comeback. I don't know how it's doing, but they tried to bring it back.
But they say Vine was mismanaged because the Twitter was unable or unwilling to pay creators who made the app so popular. So the conspiracy theorist in me is like, Twitter bought Vine to kill it, you know, and to continue the monopolization of tech. Elon Musk bringing back Vine, could it be a TikTok threat, do you think?
No.
Not at this point.
No, TikTok's taken off. And if Vine keeps their structure, which for those who don't know, Vine was a video app that all the videos had to be 6 seconds or less. That was the whole thing. They started like the attention span deficit. I mean, that's really what it was.
Yeah.
Quick, constant serotonin, bang, 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 bang. Very, very funny.
Will Sasso from Mad TV was like the most prominent Viner.
Yeah, huge Viner. Yep.
He had a wild Vine account, which was hilarious.
It was very funny.
And I mean, Elon's got a lot of issues. He's also saying that he's going to declare that new users will have to pay a fee to tweet on the Twitter platform X. And he made that announcement stating, unfortunately, a small fee for new user right access is the only way to curb the relentless onslaught of bots. current AI and troll farms can pass Are You a Bot with ease. These policy changes were first flagged by an automated account that tracks the changes to X website before being confirmed by Musk right now. So I'm not sure if this is new. Like, is it active that they're charging people a fee, or is it going to be active?
I think it's going to be active.
So if you haven't made a Twitter account and you've been thinking about it, you should do it now.
Because they will, yeah.
To get grandfathered in. Because under the new not a bot terms and conditions, new accounts must pay a small annual fee to post, like, bookmark, or reply to other tweets. However, new users will still be able to follow other accounts and browse the platform for free. The exact fee amount has not been disclosed. Could this be a Twitter killer? Would it discourage new members if you can't post? Do you have to pay for it?
I think so. I mean, who pays for social media right now?
Would the fact that you wouldn't have bots and the free speech element to Twitter be attractive enough to still entice new users?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, bots are annoying, but how often does it really disgruntle you? I mean, on a day-to-day basis, like, how often are you going, oh, these bots, golly.
Liberals disgruntle me on Twitter far more than bots.
Exactly, and those aren't going anywhere. So,
could we make liberals?
You got Truth Social for that.
This is true. This is true. You can find me on Twitter, by the way. I'll follow you back if you don't look like a bot, at Chris Hand on Air. But the decision comes as Twitter faces criticism over its inability to effectively combat the flood of spam accounts that link to pornographic content and fake products, despite Musk's previous declaration that we will defeat the spam bots or die trying. It looks like he's leaning into the die trying part of that promise.
Yeah.
The new fee is also seen as a potential revenue-generating move for X, Twitter, which has lost significant value since Musk's takeover. According to Fidelity, the social media giant has shed at least 71% of its value since the acquisition. I don't know. Do you think it's shed value? I feel like in the realm of politics, it's gained perceived value. In the realm of news, in the realm of free speech, like what we do every day, I feel like Twitter's only gained value. Now, I understand that that's not going to translate to ad buys.
Yeah, monetarily, yeah.
But somebody purchasing that platform, I feel like, would have to pay for it. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Traffic trouble right before lunch. Checking out Nashville right now. Some road work with the right exit lane blocked, 24 westbound at 440. Then in Robertson County, pothole patching. The left lane blocked, 65 southbound past Bethel Road. And the impeached Homeland Security Secretary claims they've been busy deporting people. You got to hear this coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 11:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I keep trying to get on track on the news, and the Members Nutrition text line is like pulling me back into clam strips and cannibals. We should, is it too late to change the name of the episode today?
Clam strips and cannibals.
Clam strips and cannibals.
We got it all here on the Chris Hand Show.
Yeah, Larry was asking me what my clam strip spot in the Outer Banks was. It's Dirty Dick's Crab Shack.
What is it?
Dirty Dick's Crab Shack.
Food's got to be good with a name like that.
It better be.
It's awesome. That's awesome. Also, Mario needs you to fact check something, Mac. Scuba diving cannibals?
On it.
We know they have boats.
Super textures keep me busy with the fact checks today.
Do they snorkel?
What do they like to do?
What is it? What do you do in your free time if you're a cannibal?
Long walks on the beach. What do you like?
Yeah. Pillaging through wreckage. Be a dating app. I enjoy pillaging through wreckage and
experimenting with new sauces.
Taking my boat out.
I think I have a good idea of what's going to happen tomorrow on Agenda Free Friday. I think I know some topics that'll come up tomorrow.
I think you're right. I think these topics are going to come up. Dude,
I'm ready.
The world is insane. Hey, I had this. I wanted to warn people about this. I know a lot of people watch Bluey. This is for the Red Pilled Moms Club. Bluey, have you seen Bluey?
Dude, I don't have any, but yeah, I've seen Bluey. Somehow it has still made its way to me. I know what Bluey is.
Okay.
I don't know anything really about it.
But you've seen a clip?
Yeah.
Okay, so my kids don't watch Bluey. I know a lot of families do watch Bluey. Do they speak with an Australian accent all the time? Because I saw a clip and they all have an Australian accent.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if this is like a Bluey episode from America or if it's an Australian version. And then I'm also like, you hire new actors for an Australian accent? Like, is that a good business practice? So anyway, I don't want to get off topic on the Australian accent. But they sent me, I saw this clip, Breitbart has it. Fans of Disney's Bluey are saying that they've subtly introduced gay characters. So I wanted to make everybody aware of this. People ask me, is Bluey woke trash all the time? I don't know. I don't watch it. Also, I don't know if this is just an Australian version of the show, if this is an Australian episode redone. But apparently there's a clip where a character is, they're out and they're looking for a lost pet of some sort. And one of the characters talks about, we lost a pet, but my mom's found it. And people are up in arms about this. Apparently it's the character Chihuahua Pretzel.
Yeah, I'm seeing this.
Chihuahua Pretzel. He has two lesbian mums. People are upset about this. They say this is classic Disney. They're subtly sneaking it in, and that's how it starts. I wanted to make people aware because anytime I'm talking about woke trash kids shows, I get the question about Bluey. But again, I don't watch it. And the clip I saw, they have thick Australian accents.
It's an Australian cartoon.
See, I wouldn't watch it for that.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a little prison island. That's how they started, you know.
Might be cannibals.
There could be cannibals.
Wash you down with the Fosters.
Yeah, so there may or may not be gay dogs in Bluey.
Gay frogs and gay dogs.
It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes, and here's what impeached Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas just told U.S. senators pitching President Biden's proposed 2025 budget that includes almost $5 billion for the southwest border.
In the last 11 months, we have removed or returned more than 630,000 individuals who did not have a legal basis to stay.
More sanctions on Iran for attacking Israel. 16 people and 2 groups targeted, the White House says, are connected to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Iran's defense ministry, and the Iranian government's missile and drone program. Money news here in America.
For the first time this week, investors have pulled out of their nosedive. Headed into the midday, the Dow Jones was up 273 points and back above 38,000. The S&P and NASDAQ had both gained 0.5%.
That's Jim Ryan and the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at USS, United Structural Systems. We're going to be getting some rain today, and it's going to be the perfect opportunity for you to see if water is getting into your property. And when I spoke to the guys at USS, they told me that the services they offer, you don't know you need them until you know you need them, and then, boy, you really need USS. So with the rain coming in, you should do a check around your home and see if you notice these signs. Do you see standing water in your crawl space? Maybe wet basement walls or cracks in your basement floors. If you're seeing this, that's a red flag, and you should call USS to come take a look, because that could mean that you have water getting into your home, and USS are your waterproofing experts. They've been doing it in Middle Tennessee since 1994, and they have 25,000 satisfied customers from the work that they do. It's not all they do, waterproofing. They can help you with crawl space encapsulation. They can repair the sinkholes on your property, concrete lifting. They do that as well, and they've been doing it in Middle Tennessee since 1994. So if you're having an issue and you need USS, call them today. 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. Or you can find out everything they do at United Structural Systems, from foundation repair to crawl space encapsulation and everything in between, online at USSTN.com. Just head bobbing, letting the music breathe for a second. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Murphy is filling in for Brian Wilson today. Is there another eclipse?
No eclipse.
No eclipse. But we're actually, I'm pretty excited. We got a special guest host in here, Jennifer Sheets.
Woo!
You hear her on the weekends here on WTN. She's super talented. We'll do the crossover break with her coming up, and she's like hip to the game on AI.
Ooh, okay.
So I don't have any idea if that's what she's going to talk about today. So I don't want to set her up.
Okay, I'm excited.
She sounds great on the weekends. So I'm excited to see what she's bringing to the table here.
Yes.
I'm gonna get all of the opinions out of the way on cannibals and clam strips as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah, get the big ticket items out of the way, of course.
Yes. 3420 on the members nutrition text line has another question for you to find out for us, Mac. Do these cannibals with their sailboats, do they parasail?
Oh.
Bingo.
Sally on the members nutrition text line says Kraft Lunchables announces new product, Clammables, with only 50% of the USDA daily recommended lead. We're getting a lot of Lunchables texts.
A lot of Lunchables texts.
And also, we've had a rash of people defending Bluey.
We have.
I don't watch Bluey. It's too Disney for me. I understand people think it's good. It's Disney, and Disney does Disney things, as you see here, if they're subtly trying to sneak that in. Again, I've only seen the clip online. I have not seen the episode. Do your own research as to what's good for you and your kids. A lot of people say that Bluey is legit and good. But if it's like 99% there, Lead in Lunchables. So, did we do this story already?
At least not with me.
So Consumer Reports released guidance to the USDA. Lunchables, they're stackable, they're snackable, they're full of lead. Consumer Reports called on the U.S. Department of Agriculture on Tuesday to remove Lunchables from the National School Lunch Program because of their higher levels of sodium and higher levels of lead in the food kits. How much lead is too much lead? Didn't we ban lead paint because there was a fear that a kid might eat a paint chip?
Yeah, but now we'll just put it in Lunchables.
That would contain lead? Would paint have more lead than Lunchables?
These are like in-school lunches, too. They hand out Lunchables at schools.
Dude, I love Lunchables. I was a huge fan growing up.
I was, too, growing up.
It's explaining a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
They're saying Lunchables are not a healthy option for kids and should not be allowed on the menu as part of the National School Lunch Program. Who started the National School Lunch Program?
Not only are they not healthy, they're not near enough food.
No.
I mean, it's a couple hundred calories probably, if that, a Lunchable.
Did Michelle Obama start the National School Lunch Program?
Well, it was, I don't know. I know when she was in charge of school lunches, my school lunch got healthier, which equals bad.
Because they started being able to qualify pizza sauce as a vegetable because of the tomatoes.
Signed by President Harry Truman in 1946, was established under the National School Lunch Act. So
Truman, that's classic.
Truman,
that's classic Truman. But the new standards that we're currently operating under were the centerpiece of First Lady Michelle Obama and her Let's Move program. It's funny. Since Obama has been president, I've heard a lot more Let's Move. In fact, anytime Democrats become in control, I hear an uptick in Let's Move. So yeah, Lunchables are not a healthy option for kids, should not be allowed as part of the National School Lunch Program. Brian Ronholm, Director of Food Policy at Consumer Reports, he launched a petition to the USDA and said in the release, Lunchables and similar lunch kits were tested and contain concerning levels of sodium and harmful chemicals that can lead to serious health problems over time. Kraft Heinz, they're associated with the Kerry family. He married into the Heinz family. John Kerry. Yes.
Yes. Money.
They're saying that the high levels of lead in these reports that have been found, they're misleading. It's just the right amount of lead.
Yeah, what?
It's just the right amount.
What do you mean?
They say the fact is all Lunchables meet strict safety standards set by government agencies. Consumer Reports admits that none of the food that they tested exceed any legal or regulatory limit, but they chose to bury that fact. So, I don't know. Is there a legal limit to how much rat poison we can put into kids' food? Should any amount of lead be okay? In Consumers Reports reporting on the metals, they're based on California's maximum allowable dose for heavy metals, and they say that they tested well below the acceptable limits. But I don't know. I don't know how much lead is acceptable.
Yeah, there's answers to all these questions. Bugs, rat hair, poop. How much of it is allowed?
Really?
Oh yeah. These
How
things.
much? What was the first one that you said?
Well, let's just take corn muffins, for example. You love the smell, make your mouth water, but how do you feel about biting into insect parts and rodent poop? For every quarter cup of cornmeal, the FDA allows an average of 1 or more whole insects, 2 or more rodent hairs, and 50 or more insect fragments, or 1 or more fragments of rodent dung.
Oh, somewhere Klaus Schwab is going, yes, you'll eat the bugs. All right. So fragment or whole bugs for a quarter cup?
Yep.
That seems like a whole bug for a quarter cup.
That's
seems excessive.
Crazy.
All right, what's the next one?
Yeah, I'm trying to, bugs, rat hair, and poop. How much is legally allowed in the food you eat every day?
Too much.
I would prefer that none of it is allowed.
It's too much.
The FDA and the coffee beans you grind for breakfast, allowed by the FDA to have an average of 10 milligrams or more animal poop per pound. As much as 4 to 6% of beans by count are also allowed to be insect-infested or moldy.
Oh.
What?
And we pay these guys? Do we pay?
That means around 5 of every 100 coffee beans.
The USDA allows this.
The FDA is,
The FDA.
Yeah, this is the FDA, yep.
The FDA is fine with bugs and poop.
I don't even want to guess. This is bad.
No, tell me. Now we need to know.
I'm trying to choose which one. I'll do this. This one's sad. Peanut butter. One of the most controlled foods in the FDA list. An average of 1 or more rodent hairs and 30 or so insect fragments are allowed for every 100 grams, which is 3.5 ounces.
Of what?
Peanut butter. Yeah.
One more time.
It's one of the more controlled foods on the FDA list. An average of 1 or more rodent hairs and 30 or so insect fragments are allowed for every 100 grams, which is 3.5 ounces. That's for peanut butter. This is sad.
It's gonna help. It's gonna help with our diet.
Protein.
How much of our taxpayer money goes to the FDA every year? I'm trying to find that because they say that they get their funding from 2 sources, and both are authorized by Congress. User fees and budget appropriations. User fees are paid for by industry, but both are approved by Congress.
Well, I'm not going to tell my fiance this one. Oof.
You're already hiding stuff from your fiance?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
you're going to have to tell her right away because you want this marriage to be built on honesty.
Next time she orders a Bloody Mary, I may have to. The tomato juice in that 14-ounce Bloody Mary could contain up to 4 maggots and 20 or more fruit fly eggs.
If there are 5 maggots, people are getting sued? Is that what you're telling me?
What I'm saying. Up to 4, you're good.
And who's counting? Who's doing the check on this?
Who's counting?
The FDA for fiscal year 2025 has requested $7.2 billion. So
they deserve it.
If it wasn't for the FDA, we could have up to 6 maggots in our tomato juice.
We had one text, they can't find it anymore. And the Members Nutrition Super Text line say, thanks for doing this on our lunch break.
Yeah, that's fair.
We waited till the lunch break.
This is fair. We talked about all the yummy stuff early in the show. We were talking about clam strips and all that.
Yeah.
Sharon, a member of the Red Pilled Moms Club, what up, RPMC, says, shut down the FDA.
Bingo.
I feel like if somebody went in there and was just being honest, we could save a lot of money in this country.
100%.
Also, how much does the maggot counter at the FDA get paid?
Yeah, exactly.
I can count to 4.
Yeah, come on.
Are you kidding?
97. I just had a V8.
Not a good look, bro. Not a good look. It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Jennifer Sheets, very talented. She is coming in. She does weekend shows here on Super Talk. This is going to be her first fill-in show for Murphy. I'm going to need everybody to be on their best behavior. Do you understand me?
Sir, yes, sir.
We have a guest.
All right.
We're going to talk to Jennifer next. Hang out with us. 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:54 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm joined in studio by Jennifer Sheets. Hello.
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Happy that the sun's shining. Happy to be here today and love listening to your show.
Oh, you're the best. I like listening to your show on the weekends. If people haven't heard your show on the weekends, like, who is Jennifer Sheets?
The everlasting long-awaited question and answer. Well, I started Master the Workforce because I started a staffing company 24 years ago. And so we've given people about 35,000 people plus jobs over the last 24 years. And what I've learned in that amount of time is that I don't know a lot. It's always changing. And I wanted to have a show that would talk about all the things that affect us of what we spend 70% of our lives doing, and that's working. Yep. And how, as much as we talk about how we're also different, we're so much the same. And it doesn't matter if you're the CEO or the line haul driver or, you're a content creator or you're a nurse. We all have similar things that happen in our path and every day when we're working. And sometimes shared experiences, even if it's a different industry, can help us work through things that we're doing ourselves. So it's just a show about tackling tough topics, talk about what we're doing, what's coming up, what we should be looking out for. It's all of those things and above.
I tackle tough topics too.
You tackle some amazing tough topics.
Like today, we really focused on clam strips and cannibals.
The cannibals one, that was incredible. I love the little clips that you had in there. That was very interesting. It was very entertaining.
I wish that they were made up. I wish that they were fake.
This is your entertainment value for the hour. Talk about this.
Oh my gosh.
Well, then it got me because we were just talking about a minute ago about the Vine.
Yes.
That social media with the Vine. I thought,
Elon Musk is thinking about bringing back Vine.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that? That's your wheelhouse, tech.
Tech, AI. Oh yeah, don't want to get me on that soapbox. I actually wrote a book about it last year.
Really?
Yeah, and it's called the Human Capital Lifeline, and it's basically talking about how if we don't integrate technology and AI responsibly, we are going to eliminate an entire generation of workforce. I mean, and then not going to be people to buy the goods and products and things they're trying to scale up by using AI technology. So this is what we talk about.
That's when they're going to start pushing the UBI and the eating the bugs and living in the pod and being happy, right?
That's right. And I feel like if Elon Musk is telling you something, you need to kind of perk up whether you like him or not, because he was in the creation of all, like Chat GPT, all those things. So when he says something, I'm kind of like, this is interesting. It seems to follow some of that trends, but I don't know if anything will ever compete with TikTok. I think they hope it does, but
I hope somebody just takes it out behind the
Wouldn't
bar
that be
and
great?
kills it.
It would be so. This is what I want to start our show out talking about today. Fill it in today is I want to talk about this because this is a hot topic right now.
So, what's your opinions on TikTok?
I feel like there's some sinisterness behind it. I really do. And what's really funny is that they want to talk about that they've put these parameters in place to protect kids and whatnot. But here's the thing. How do kids become millionaires at 16, 17, 18 years old? It's product placement. I mean, literally, they're not just getting paid because they're on there and they're getting, millions of followers and millions of views. They actually have them endorse things, blow things up, do things. So, I mean, they're using them.
Yeah.
But of course, they're benefiting because they're making a ton more money than I am. So
fair. Yep. They're making more than myself as well. Sometimes I feel like I missed the boat on just doing weird stuff on the internet.
Have you ever done anything really funny that's blown up viral on the internet, like on a TikTok or something? Do you use TikTok?
No. I only ever got viral one time, and it was 2013. I almost got into a fight with Chris Brown.
That's amazing. I remember Chris Brown. Yes, I do.
I told him he didn't have any hit songs. And he was not very happy.
He thought he was going to hit you. If I don't have a hit song, I'll hit you.
Yep.
And that's okay.
Stormed out of my studio. That's the only time. But my dad had called me. He's like, hey, your argument with Chris Brown made it in the India Times. I was like, what? I don't know what that is. He's like, it's the #1 newspaper in India. I was like, oh.
You've made it now.
Yeah.
You're right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have Instagram, obviously, right?
I do. I'm on Instagram, Truth Social, and Twitter, Chris Hand on Air. But I wouldn't be on any of them if it wasn't for the show.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Yeah, because now you're forced to do it, right? But we get the benefit of that because you are. We love listening to you.
It's a job. I love listening to you, and I'm excited.
Oh, thanks.
Jennifer Sheets, she's filling in for Matt Murphy next. You heard it briefly. She's a businesswoman. She is super smart, in the wheelhouse of AI and tech, and she's going to be answering all your questions on that. I'll leave the Members Nutrition Super Text line open for you.
Love it. Can't wait to hear.
I told everyone that they need to be on their best behavior.
Be nice.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
We get a little loosey-goosey with the members nutrition text line rules on my show, but I said best behavior.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'm excited. Thank you.
I'm excited too. Jennifer's in next from Murphy. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.